Nobody cares. Work harder. Let me break it to you plain and raw. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares how tired you are, how broken you feel, how unfair life's been to you. The world isn't waiting to hand you anything. The world's not slowing down for your pain. And every second you spend crying about your situation is another second you're choosing to stay weak. You want to change your life. Stop looking for sympathy and start embracing suffering. That's where strength is born. You're not a victim. You're just undisciplined. Stop waiting for motivation, because it ain't coming. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is forever. Every excuse you make is just permission to quit, and the truth is nobody cares if you do. You think anyone's gonna feel bad for you because you're tired, because you've had a hard life. Good, that's fuel, that's fire, use it. I don't care if you're overweight, broke, heartbroken, or drowning in doubt. Wake up earlier, train harder, read more, sleep less, push when it hurts, grind when you're bleeding, because there is no rescue team coming. You are the damn rescue team. No one's clapping for you while you're suffering in silence, but that's where greatness is made, in the shadows, not on the stage. You earn that spotlight with hours of pain that no one sees. Let the suffering forge you. Let the rejection build you. Let the failures educate you. And when you're ready to cry about how tough life is, remember this. Nobody cares, so work harder. Pain is your starting point. Pain isn't punishment. Pain is the universe calling your bluff. You say you want it bad, then here, take the suffering. Take the loneliness. Take the failure. That's where real work begins. Most people run from pain. You run toward it. Pain is the cost of greatness, and you better start paying that rent daily. Excuses are lies dressed in comfort. You're not too tired. You're too weak. You're not too busy. You're just too soft. Excuses are for people who want sympathy, not transformation. Every time you say, I can't, you just handed the enemy your damn sword. Kill the excuses, kill the weakness, and if you're still breathing, you've still got fight in you. So fight. Discipline over emotion. Your feelings don't matter when your goals are on the line. You don't feel like it. Good, that's the sign to move. Your body will always try to keep you comfortable, but comfort is a killer. Discipline is doing the work long after the mood you made the promise in has died. Master your emotions, or your emotions will master you. Suffering builds a savage when you suffer on purpose, through cold, through workouts. Silence, through isolation, you begin to harden, not in bitterness but in armor. You become calloused, not just on your hands but on your mind, and once you've suffered long enough, you realize this. You don't break, you sharpen. The weak drown in the storm. The savage becomes the storm. Standard is relentless. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards, and most of you have set your standard too comfortable. You got to raise that bar to a place where nobody understands you, where you're so obsessed people start calling you crazy. That's the point. Be so relentless that laziness chokes in your presence. Want the full 700-word expansion of each keynote in this exact style. Pain is your starting point. Let's talk about pain. Real pain. The kind that doesn't just sting. It crushes your soul, breaks your rhythm, and makes you question why you even started. That pain, that's where your journey begins. Most people run from it. They treat pain like an enemy. The second it shows up, they tap out. They numb it with distractions, blame it on someone else, or pretend it's not happening. They say, this isn't fair, or why me? But the truth is, pain is your invitation to greatness. It's the door you have to walk through if you ever want to see the other side of who you really are. There is no growth in comfort. There is no strength without struggle. Pain is the proving ground. It separates the committed from convenient, and every time you feel it creeping in, that's not a sign to quit. It's a signal to lean in. It's a test, and life's asking one simple question. How bad do you really want it? See, comfort will lie to you. It'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear. You've done enough. Take it easy. You deserve a break, but pain tells the truth. It's honest. Pain will expose every weakness you thought you'd hidden. It'll strip you bare and leave you face to face with yourself. And what you do in that moment, that's who you really are. There's power in choosing pain, not because you're a masochist, but because you're on a mission. When you deliberately walk into discomfort, when you choose the harder path, you're telling life, you will not break me. I came here to grow, and I'm not leaving empty-handed. Everyone wants results. Everyone wants the success story, but no one wants the suffering that builds it. They want the body, but not the early mornings and strict diets. They want the business, but not the sleepless nights and daily Rejections, they want the mental toughness, but not the brutal internal war it takes to earn it. That's why pain is the separator, the gatekeeper, the filter between those who wish and those who work. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need motivation. What you need is to be willing to hurt for what you say you want, because greatness demands sacrifice. Pain is also the forge. It's where you're melted down and reshaped into something harder, something sharper. Every rep that burns, every mile that hurts, every rejection that stings, that's part of the process. That's the currency you pay to become uncommon. And if you don't embrace it, you'll keep living at 40%, where it's safe, easy, and dead inside. Let me be clear. Pain doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're alive. It means you're in the arena. If you're waking up sore, exhausted, doubting yourself, but still showing up, you're doing it right. That's the grind. That's the war. And every scar, every bruise, every mental break, and you survive, that's a badge, a reminder that you didn't run, you didn't flinch, you kept swinging when everything inside screamed stop. And eventually, pain becomes familiar. It doesn't scare you anymore. You stop avoiding it, and you start using it. You start hunting it, because you know every ounce of it is making you harder, smarter, hungrier. You want an edge. Here it is. Learn to love pain. Welcome it like a long, lost friend. Chase it when others hide. When your lungs are burning, your muscles are screaming, your mind is begging for mercy. That's where you separate yourself. Pain is your start line. Most never leave the blocks because they can't handle what it takes to begin. But you run headfirst into the fire because you know what's waiting on the other side. You're not average, you're not weak. You've just been lied to about pain your whole life. They told you it was a warning sign. It's not. It's the signal to level up. So next time pain shows up, and it will, you look it in the face and say, welcome back. I've been waiting for you. Let's get to work. Excuses are lies dressed in comfort. Let's call it what it is. Excuses are lies, dressed up real nice, coated in just enough truth to make you feel okay about quitting. But at their core, they're nothing more than the voice of weakness trying to seduce you back into comfort. You say you're too tired, that's a lie. You say you don't have time, that's a lie. You say you're too old, too young, too broken, lies, all of it. Excuses are the enemy's weapon, not some person, but the enemy inside of you, the soft voice, the easy road, the maybe tomorrow a mindset, that version of you wants to stay in bed when the alarm goes off. It wants to skip the workout. It wants to stay quiet when you should speak, rest when you should run, relax when you should be putting in the reps. And most people, they let that version win every damn day. Here's the truth. You don't lack ability, you lack honesty. You lie to yourself because telling the truth hurts. The truth says you wasted the day. The truth says you're soft. The truth says you chose comfort over growth. And that truth will eat you alive if you ever stop long enough to look in the mirror and face it. The world isn't against you, your own mind is. Your excuses are the prison bars, and you're the one holding the key. You want to know what separates the uncommon from the average. The uncommon stop negotiating with their excuses. They don't make deals with their weakness. They don't say, just one more snooze. They don't justify skipping the grind. They do the work regardless of the mood, regardless of the weather, regardless of the pain, because they know that feelings lie, discipline doesn't. Look, it's easy to find reasons not to show up. Your back hurts. The kids kept you up all night. Your boss is a jerk. You had a bad childhood. You're surrounded by negativity. It's easy to string all that together into a story that lets you off the hook. But guess what? That story is worthless. It doesn't get you the body. It doesn't get you the business. It doesn't build the mind. All it does is keep you stuck, comfortable, and soft, sitting on the couch of mediocrity while life passes you by. And here's the sick part. You believe it. You convince yourself that it's okay, that tomorrow will be different, that one missed day doesn't matter. But what you don't realize is that every excuse becomes a thread, and those threads start weaving a pattern, a lifestyle of quitting, a reputation of half-effort, a legacy of almost. Excuses steal your time. They steal your energy. They rob you of your potential and your pride. Every excuse is a withdrawal from your future self's bank account. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and realize you're broke mentally, physically, spiritually, all because you kept cashing out when it was time to show up. Want to change that? Start calling out your own bullsh*T, loud and clear. No soft language, no sugar, coating. You wake up late, say, I was lazy. You skip the workout, say, I was weak. You didn't hit your goals, say, I didn't do the work. and then fix it. Don't post about it. Don't cry about it. Fix it. You've got two choices: make excuses or make progress, but you don't get both. You want to be elite. You want to build something real. Then every time that excuse creeps in, you crush it. You strangle it in its sleep. You hunt it down and burn it to the ground, because the second you stop letting excuses drive the car, everything changes. You stop being a passenger. You grab the wheel. You drive toward the pain, the discipline, the repetition, the lifestyle that produces real results. Excuses are nothing more than permission to stay weak. Stop giving yourself permission. Discipline over emotion. You feel tired? Too bad, get up. You don't feel like training? Too bad, train. You're not in the mood to work on your goals today? Good, that's exactly why you need to do it. Because if your life is controlled by how you feel, you'll never control anything. Feelings are temporary, weak, deceptive. Discipline is everything. Let's be real, if you only showed up when you felt like it, you'd never get anywhere, because your emotions are liars. They tell you, rest a little longer. You've done enough. You can start tomorrow. And most people, they listen. They negotiate with those lies. They make deals with weakness and then wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up no matter what. You're sore, good, still train. You're heartbroken, good, still grind. You had a long day, good, now show what you're made of. Emotion is the noise. Discipline is the signal. And if you don't learn to shut that emotional noise down, you'll drown in it. You'll never get stronger, faster, smarter, just softer, more fragile, more dependent on how things feel before you act. But here's the truth. The moment you take emotion off the table and say, this is what I said I'd do, so I'm doing it, your whole life changes. That's the standard. That's where the shift happens, when you decide that consistency matters more than comfort. Let me give it to you straight. If you wait until you feel right, the opportunity will pass you by. Life doesn't care if you're in the mood. It rewards the obsessed, the relentless. The consistent. Discipline is what carries you when your motivation's dead and gone, when the hype fades, when the world is silent. Discipline says, we still go. Discipline builds a resume of days stacked on top of each other, even when every cell in your body begged you to take a break. And over time, that becomes who you are. You don't rise to your dreams. You fall to your systems. You drop to the level of your daily grind. And if your grind is only based on emotion, you'll fall hard over and over again. Look at any savage who ever walked this earth. They didn't rely on feelings. They relied on routine, on habit, on non-negotiable execution. They built a life where certain things were no longer up for debate. It wasn't, do I feel like it? It was, this is who I am. I train, I read, I work, I show up. Period. You think the best feel like pushing every day. They don't. They just don't give their feelings a vote. Discipline is a decision, a contract you sign with yourself, a line in the sand that says, no matter what the hell happens, I show up. Let the weak chase motivation. Let the average wait for inspiration. You show up because that's your standard, that's your identity, that's who the hell you are now. And don't get it twisted, discipline isn't sexy. It's lonely. It's early mornings, sore muscles, skipped parties, and long nights. It's repetition, over and over, but get what it wins every time. The world is built for disciplined minds, not the emotional, not the reactive, but the focused, the locked in, the ones who don't need a crowd cheering them on to do what needs to be done. So next time you're not feeling it, remember, you don't owe your emotion anything. You owe your goals everything, and that means showing up on time, doing the work, crushing the reps, grinding the hours, especially when it's hard, especially when you want to quit, because that's where the edge is. Forget how you feel. Feelings fade. Discipline doesn't. Suffering builds. A savage, you want to be unstoppable, unshakable, untouchable. Then stop running from suffering and start embracing it. Suffering isn't your enemy, it's your forge. It's the hammer that smashes the soft parts of you into something sharp, something brutal, something that can't be broken. See, people want the results but not the cost. They want the strength but not the strain. They want the crown but not the crawl. But there's a price for greatness, and that price is suffering. The kind that twists your guts, burns your lungs, and breaks you open. And the real ones, the ones who rise above mediocrity, they lean into it. Comfort doesn't build warriors, it builds excuses. Comfort doesn't carve muscle, it creates decay. Comfort doesn't create clarity, it clouds the mind. You don't grow when it's easy. You grow when you're drowning, when you're buried under the weight of your own doubt, when your legs won't move but you keep walking, when your lungs are on fire but you keep breathing. That's when you level up. That's when the savage is born. You think the savage is made in the gym? No. He's made when he's dragging himself to the gym on zero sleep, sore as hell, and still finds a way to push through. You think the savage is made on a stage? No. She's built in silence, in the cold, in the hurt, when nobody's watching and the only cheerleader is the voice in her head saying, keep going. That voice gets louder with every mile you run in pain, every rep you push when your arms are screaming. Every time you go without comfort, without applause, without mercy, you sharpen. You cut deeper into the weakness, and all that's left is grit, power, purpose. The weak avoid suffering. They medicate it. They negotiate with it. They say, life's too short to be this hard. But the savage says, life's too short to be soft. They welcome pain because they know it's the only road to power. And don't get it twisted, suffering isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. It's facing your childhood trauma, your insecurities, your failures. It's standing toe to toe with your demons and saying, you will not own me today. Suffering is the place where most people tap out, and that's where you begin. That's where you find the real you. Not the polished version, not the one people follow on social media, but the one buried under all your excuses, all your soft habits, all your comfort zones. The savage doesn't get lucky, they get brutal. They go through hell because they know that every scar tells a story of discipline, of sacrifice, of refusing to quit when quitting would have been easy. And you want to know what suffering really gives you: freedom, freedom from weakness, freedom from dependency, freedom from the fake version of yourself that wants to be liked more than it wants to be great. You suffer on purpose because you're hunting something. You're chasing evolution. You're chasing that elite version of yourself that only shows up after the pain has stripped everything else away. You want to change your life, start suffering on your terms, wake up earlier than the excuses, push harder than your feelings, sit in silence with your pain until it becomes your fuel, because once you understand that pain is a tool, suffering becomes your sanctuary. It's where the average get lost and you get found. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, let's go. You stop needing comfort and start craving challenge. You stop being afraid because what can hurt a man who's already embraced the hurt? You want to be a savage, suffer for it. Absolutely. Here's the conclusion of the speech nobody cares, work harder, written in that same hard-edged, relentless tone, built to seal every keynote like the final blow in a war zone. No sympathy. Just standards. You've heard it all now: the pain, the discipline, the excuses, the suffering, and the standard. Let me wrap it all up for you with one brutal, beautiful truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's clapping for you at 4 a.m. Nobody's handing you success. And guess what? Nobody cares. You think that's cold? No, that's freedom. Because once you finally understand that no one owes you a damn thing, not love, not support, not recognition, you stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop begging for an easier life and start building a stronger you. This whole world is filled with people who talk, people who wish, people who post quotes and dream big but live soft. You're not one of them. You weren't built for soft. You were built to go through fire and come out steel. Every second you complain, someone else is grinding. Every minute you doubt, someone else is getting sharper. Every excuse you give, someone else is using as fuel. You want to be great, then earn it, bleed for it, suffer for it, break yourself for it, and when life tries to knock you down, don't look for comfort. Don't cry out for support. Stand up, fists clenched, heart pounding, and work harder. No one's watching. Good. No one believes in you. Perfect. That's where the savage is born, not in applause, but in silence, not in praise, but in pressure. This isn't about motivation. This isn't a feel-good message. This is a mirror shoved in your face. Look in it and ask yourself, have I done everything I can, or am I still negotiating with weakness? Stop waiting, stop whining, stop looking for someone to care. Nobody cares, so work harder. And when they finally notice, when they finally ask how you did it, smile. Nod and say, I did it when nobody was watching.